We use two important FIDO modules. The OS module allows the program to interact with the operating system. It helps us check if a file exists before reading or writing data, create new files when necessary, and organize directories and file paths efficiently. Next, the datetime module is used for working with date and times. It is particularly useful for recording the data and time of student enrollments and log in important system activity for better record keeping. The program ensures that key data file exists before any operations are performed. This file includes student TST, courses TST, enrollment TST, and lecturer TST. If they do not exist, the system will automatically create them. A while-through loop ensures a valid 8-digit student ID checking len string student ID not equal to 8 and handling non-integer input with aspect value error, repeating until valid. Another loop ensures a valid student name stripping white space and only letter and space is alpha or is space. A similar loop ensures contact info contains only digits. Student contact is digit. Gender input is taken, converted to uppercase, and validated to contain only letters. Not student gender is alpha. Is invalid, an error is displayed. The input must be male or female, otherwise an error appears. The loop exists when a valid gender is entered. Use a while-through loop to repeatedly prompt the user for their age, ensuring the input consists only of digit, and if invalid, display an error message. Once a valid number is entered, convert it to an integer and check if the falls within the range of 18 to 70, exiting the loop if valid of displaying an error message is not. Check if student TST exists. If OS path exists student TST, then open it in read mode to check for duplicate student IDs. Iterate through each line, stripping with space and splitting by commas. If a duplicate is found, print an error. Otherwise, open the file in append mode, add a new record, and confirm the addition. The add courses function ensures proper input validation and optional lecture assignment. Before adding a new course, it begins with a loop prompting the user of a valid 7-character courses ID, checking that the first 3 characters are uppercase letters. If invalid, an error message appears and the loop treats restart. Another loop ensures the course's name contains only letters and is space displaying an error if empty of invalid. Similarly, the course's value is validated to allow only letters, number, hyphens, and space. The user is then prompted for the number of seats 40 to 500 with invalid inputs, triggering error message and read prompting. By default, lecturer field is set to none. The user can enter a lecturer name which is validated against lecturer TST. The file is checked for existence, then read line by line. Skipping records by commas, the lecturer IDs and names are extracted and compared with lecturer input. If a match is found, the lecturer ID is stored and the loop exists. Otherwise, a message indicates no lecturers were found. Before adding the courses TST is checked for duplicate if course ID already exists. The function exists. Otherwise, the course is appended to courses TST in the format courses ID, course name, course venue, seats, lecturer field, and a confirmation message is displayed.
The add lecture function collects and validates lecture details before storing them in a file. First, the user needs to enter lecture ID with 7 characters. Its alpha and its upper are ensuring the first 3 characters are uppercase letter and its digit is made sure that the last 4 characters are digit. If the input is invalid, the user must re-enter it. Next, the function collects the lecturer name. These coding are ensuring it's not empty and contains only letter and space. The contact number must be consists of digits because of its digits. For the upper, we make the gender convert to uppercase. The age must be number between 28 and 80. After validation, the function checks if the lecture's file is open and read it to prevent duplicated. If the lecture is unclear, their details are appended to the file and print lecture is successful. The choice 4 and 6 are almost the same, so I just explain one of them. Those functions are view the input. For the fourth one is viewing student information. At first, it will print a title with registered student at the top. It will print the header with column names, which is student ID, name, contact, gender, and age. The number behind those headers is to control columns width to ensure a clear table. If the file is missing, it informs the user that no student register is present. It will open it and read each record. The strip means remove any leading and trailing space. The record will spill by command. Lastly, for the line coding means ensuring all the required fields exist before formatting the output. This coding are checking is there any lecturer assigned to the course. If a lecturer is assigned, it search for the name in the lecturer list. If found, store the name in the lecturer name file. It displays both name and ID. If not, only displays the lecturer ID. Otherwise, it shows no assigned.
Enrolling course function begins by validating the student ID and course ID through while loops, ensuring the student ID is an 8-digit integer and the course ID follows the format of 3 uppercase letters and 4 digits. It then checks if the student exists by reading the student.txt file line by line, splitting each line into parts using split comma. If the student ID is not found, the function exists with an error message. Next, it checks for duplicate enrollments by reading the enrollment.txt file and comparing the student ID and course ID with existing records. If a duplicate is found, the function exits. The function then reads all course records from course.txt into a list called course and iterates through it to find the matching course. If the course is found and has available seats, the seat count is decremented by 1, and the updated course record is appended to a new list called new courses. If no seats are available, the original record is kept. Finally, if the course record is updated, the new courses list is written back to course.txt, and the new enrollment record is appended to enrollment.txt. Similarly, the drop course function validates the student ID and course ID, checks for the enrollment record in enrollment.txt, and removes it by creating a new list called new enrollments that excludes the drop enrollment. It then updates the course seat counting by reading course.txt into a list, incrementing the seat count for the matching courses, and writing the updated records back to the file.
Hi, I'm Jingshen and I'll continue the rest of the explanation. So the next function is to assign a lecturer to a course. And here we have 3 conditions to check if the input is what we want, like exactly 7 characters long. First 3 characters should be capital letters and last 4 characters should be digits. And then next we do the same but for lecturer. If that is done, we will check if the lecturer exists in our file. If it doesn't exist, we will inform the user that the lecturer must be added first. Next, we will check if the courses.txt file exists. If it's not, we will inform user that there are no courses available. If there are courses available, we will check for the course ID and replace it with the new lecturer ID. If there are no new changes, the record and the files will stay the same. Next is the view enrollments function. After we print out our format, we will check if the enrollments file exists. If it doesn't exist, we will inform the user. And to create the enrollment file, we have to first create 2 dictionaries. One is student dictionary and one is courses dictionary. After we have created the key and tuples for each of them, we can open the enrollments file and take information from the student and courses file into the enrollment that we want. Lastly is our main menu for our course registration system. Here is everything that we have in our main menu. And lastly, if we press 11, the function is to exit and it will say bye, see you next time.